Good day, class. This is Miss De La Torre, and at this point, we're going to have our new discussion. So we have discussed about the plans of the government, particularly the vision of the Department of Science and Technology for this country. However, our country is still facing problems with the number of scientists, researchers that is being trained. So to realize the vision of this country, the major contribution and action of science sector is to hone new breed of science students and professionals. And that is where our science education here in the Philippines comes into the scene. Now, why is science education important? If we're going to look at it, it is where technology and industry are intertwined. So meaning they are connected with one another. And as of today, in the 20th century, we all know that science, technology, and our the industry are the major areas of development that should be prioritized by our government. Kasi if you're going to recall my discussion during the early or orientation days that we've had, di ba sabi ko nga, if you're going to compare the science and technology advancement in a specific country with respect to their economy, di ba, usually we can notice that the more developed their science and technology is, the higher their economic status or economic advantages, right? So, why should we focus on science and technology? That is because first, science and technology education enhances learners' questioning skills. Another one is that more than that, this also enhances learners' values, attitudes, and even critical thinking skills. And if you're going to look at it, okay, the science education here in the Philippines is kind of a well-crafted one because it is given to us in a step-by-step process so that the scientific skills and knowledge of students will be developed. So let's try to get into the concept of the science education, not just simply here in the Philippines, but in general. Okay? If we are to talk about education, okay, actually that involves what? The teaching, the learning, and understanding process. And yung mga teacher naman pag nagtuturo, hindi naman yan basta-basta lang nagtuturo ng mga estudyante, no? Kaya nga siya inaaral. Okay? Like for example, in my case, my undergrad is Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in biology. So, our subject during my undergrad days is divided into two. We have the major subjects wherein, again, we expect that the topics or the lessons provided there is highly focusing on biology or science, right? But the other half is actually made up of what we call as professional education. So, hindi pamilyar yung karamihan, not unless you're in the field of education, dun sa term na professional education or prof ed subject. But here, ang focus naman ng prof ed subject is the professional side of teaching. Here, we are taught how to teach students what are the different techniques to be done, how do we assess learners, kasi at the end of the day, pare-parehas man yung grade level or yung year level ng mga estudyante, they have their own learning skills, they have their own learning styles. And for the students to learn properly, teachers should adapt into the level of understanding of their students. So therefore, we should know as teachers how to properly educate students. Hindi basta-basta lang nagbibigay ng quizzes. Hindi lang basta-basta nagbibigay ng assignment. Hindi rin basta-basta nagbibigay ng um, graded recitation or whatnot. Everything that we do falls under the concept of pedagogy. Ano nga ba yung pedagogy? Okay, if you're going to look at it, pedagogy refers to the theories and the models that helps instructors like us to teach scientific concepts and processes effectively. Kasi may sistema tayong pina-follow whenever we do that. Okay? Always remember that hindi lang basta-basta nagtuturo ang mga teacher. Kailangan, 'di ba, usually pag orientation anong ginagawa? We do um what you call this one, we do diagnostic tests, we do pre-tests. That is not just simply dahil gusto lang ng teacher or wala lang may turo sa first day of class, but the reason is for us to know what the level of understanding of the students are, specifically about the topic or the subject involved. Okay, and again, always remember the reason why your instructors give you several types of lessons, several types of assessment tools, quizzes, may pa-quiz bee, may pa-long test, may pa-short test, may pa-project, may pa-portfolio, case study, so on and so forth. And also why we're using different techniques and tools to deliver, okay, the to deliver the topic. That is again part of the art of teaching, which is known as pedagogy. Okay, so hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na ay trip lang ni ma'am ng ganto ng ganyan kaya siya nagpapagawa ng ganitong assignment or activity. Again, at the end of the day, those are what those are techniques, okay, and strategies that um, has been professionally taught to the instructors po. Okay? So again, we have this art of teaching called as pedagogy, and always remember this refers to the method and the practice of teaching. And ano naman eh, I firmly believe in, if I'm not mistaken, one of my instructors during my college days tells us na there's no such thing as perfect educational strategy or teaching practice or method. Totoo naman. Kasi at the end of the day, the students we're going to handle is varying or very diverse. And the most or the only thing that we can do is try to accommodate as much student as we can. Kaya it's better that you are also vocal, okay? You give constructive criticism. Huwag niyong i-judge masyado yung mga teacher ninyo, okay? Kasi we won't know how you wanted to be taught, okay? How you wanted to learn things if you're not going to tell us what to do at the first place. Okay? If you can recall as well, I believe during my orientation days, okay, sa mga subject ko, isa sa mga common question I'm asking my student is, how do you want me to teach you? Okay? Kasi how can I properly teach you if you're not going to tell me how to do so, right? So, that's one idea. Again, always remember, hindi po nanguhula lang ng grade ang mga teacher ninyo. Okay? Ang mga teacher ninyo nagdaan yan ng 4 years, okay, to build their professional education as instructor. They are taught to be educators in the field once they graduated. Not to mention, we also are subjected to licensure examinations to make sure that what we bring to the table is something of value, right? So, I hope pedagogy in its concept is clear as of the moment. Okay? So, yun yung reason bakit meron tayong iba't ibang ways, okay, where we try to teach students po. Okay, so what is Republic Act 7722? Okay, si Republic Act 7722, this is implemented by the Philippine government in view of the education sector in the Philippines. Okay? Ang meron lang dito, or kumbaga the main thought of RA 7722 is to establish a department, okay, that will focus on the education sector. Okay? And nung una, yung Department of Education, actually it is not DepEd yet. Okay, though hindi ko naman naabutan 'yun. Ang alam ko lang, nung elementary kasi ako DepEd na eh. Pero parang prior that, if I'm not mistaken, it's called as um, DEX yata, Department of Education, Culture and Sports, something like that. But again, it has been like converted into DepEd. So, Department of Education is the department or the institution in the Philippines where secondary and primary education is under or supervised. Okay? So, pagka basic ed, that involves primary, that's elementary, and high school, secondary. Si DepEd ang supervising body for that. Pero nung 1994, dati kasi kay DepEd din yung tertiary. Pero nung 1994, inihiwalay na yung tertiary level, kaya nagkaroon na po ng CHED or Commission on Higher Education. Kasi you may notice in the logo, makikita nyo na 1994. That is when CHED has been established to focus on tertiary level education. Okay, let's try to talk about science education specifically here in the Philippines nga. Okay, again, it's divided into two, the basic education covering the primary education, that's elementary, and then the secondary, and then tertiary, of course, is under CHED. Okay, and if we're going to look at it, okay, science education already started in the basic education eh. Tama, nung elementary pa lang tayo hanggang high school, meron naman ng science subjects doon. Okay? And if you're going to continue up until college, meron pa rin naman. Pero, if you're going to also notice further, medyo mas dadami lang yung science-related subjects mo pagdating mo ng college kung, alin, kung science-related yung career na ipupursu mo at the latter part or upon graduation. So, ibig sabihin nun, kung yung course mo or yung program mo sa college is science-related, so i-expect mo na mas marami yung science-related subject mo doon. Pero kung hindi, most probably, yung science-related subject mo noong basic education mo, like elementary and high school, is mas marami pa kesa nung college ka na. Okay, again, it depends on your track and the program you're going to take. So, for example, kung nung high school ka, senior high, you take or you took up STEM, okay, as your track. So, expect mo na that you're leading into a college degree or program that is related to STEM. And if it's STEM, so of course, science is prevalent there. Okay, so let's try to talk about the basic education here in the Philippines. So if you're going to look at it, the basic education here helps students to learn important concepts and facts that is related to what? To their everyday life. Okay? So dito sinisimulang turuan yung mga estudyante ng mga life skills na tinatawag, as you may see here in our slide, okay? That will allow them to cope up with daily life or with daily living, right? More than that, though, it also includes what? It also includes learning opportunities that will hone students' processing skills, critical thinking skills, and others. Okay, so again, kaya nga basic education. So of course, yung mga basic knowledge that is essential for the students to live comfortably and efficiently are being taught in this level. Okay? And dito lalabas itong mga values and features na ito, no? During the basic education level, students are encouraged to develop love for knowledge, passion to innovate things. Children are also provided with learning opportunities that will allow them, okay, to enhance their curiosity, to study nature, and of course, their creativity. Okay, the basic education kasi, if you're going to look at it, it is designed to prepare the student for higher level of learning. Kaya, it is expected na habang tumataas yung grade level mo, habang tumataas yung year level mo, anong nangyayari? Dapat tumataas din yung understanding or yung learning mo in general. Okay? Students here are taught to learn more independently. Kaya, mas dumadami yung mga learning opportunities where you are left with your group mates, with your classmates, or even with yourself alone, okay, to do things on your own and to just receive support lang. Okay, kasi in this particular curriculum that we have today, hindi na siya teacher-centered. Hindi na siya spoon-feed lang. Hindi na siya yung tipo na lahat lang ng information ay manggagaling lang sa teacher. Ang mangyayari nga dito, most of the time, the teacher is going to only facilitate the learning. The teacher is only going to provide you with activities that will allow you to discover the knowledge that you need to learn as the lesson progress. Okay? And another distinct feature of the basic education curriculum is it aspires for academic excellence. So as much as possible, which is very evident naman. No? So as much as possible, we are trying to build up students that are academically excellent, hindi lang sa iisang specific subject, hindi lang sa science, but even in other subject areas as well. And of course, hindi dapat maiwan yung alin, yung kanilang capacity to accept new knowledge and technology. Kasi we all know that learning is a dynamic process. Okay? When you learn things, we do not expect learners to stay stagnant kasi nagbabago-bago ang knowledge, right? Science in particular is a field of knowledge that is dynamic on its own. Okay? It's ever-changing. Okay? It's not like, ito ay comparison lang na. I'm not saying that English is a stagnant subject or what, but if you're going to look at it, the way information changes, okay, pagdating sa science at kung ikukumpara natin siya sa Filipino subject or sa English subject, okay? Dahil from time to time, we get to discover new scientific knowledge, tendency is yung concept ngayon sa science can change in few years time. Pero yung grammar ruling sa English, it could stay for very, very, very long time. Okay, yung grammar like ruling when I was in elementary is still the same as when I am already working right now. Pero yung diskusyon kung ang Pluto ba ay planeta o hindi ay nagbabago-bago simula nung elementary ako hanggang ngayon. So that's science. It's ever-changing. And my point here, class, is that science education in the Philippines aims to also produce learners that are adaptive to change, that are open to new possibilities, that are also dynamic when it comes to processing and analyzing knowledge. Kasi hindi naman yan lahat nakaano eh. Hindi naman lahat ng tinuturo ini-expect na dapat lagi mong dala. Kasi through time, okay, meron at merong type of knowledge that may be no longer usable, no? May no longer be helpful in the near future. And what we want you to do is to know when to discard certain knowledge and know when to accept new one. Okay? Kasi ang labanan na ngayon of literacy is no longer whether you know how to write or read or comprehend. It's whether you know how to read, write, comprehend, learn, and unlearn things. Okay? Kasi in this day and age, lalong-lalo na ang dami nating source of knowledge, source of information, it's very easy to get flooded eh, 'di ba? With lots of knowledge. Okay, pag open mo pa nga lang ng computer mo o pag-access mo pa lang ng internet, you're already bombarded with lots of knowledge. Now the challenge here is no longer access eh. Okay? More than like accessing knowledge, the real challenge here is to know what type of knowledge to filter, what type of information to absorb and to discard. Okay, so I hope you get what I mean, no, in this particular case. Again, always remember the key things. It's already shared in this slide, no, when it comes to the basic education here in the Philippines. Now, um, come high school, actually ako ay produkto ng tinatawag na BEC. Okay, so that's basic education curriculum if I'm not mistaken. Okay? And BEC is like the type of curriculum prior the K to 12 curriculum. So kami yung mga professionals na na-produce by only attending 10 years of high school. Okay, and then nag-college na kami. Sa case namin, technically, yun nga, high school, we didn't have any senior high school. Okay? Ang meron lang kami ay hanggang junior high, tapos nag-college na kami. Okay? Um, with K to 12 right now kasi what they did is they added 2 more years, and that's labeled as the senior high school. That is going to be a preparatory year for you before you enter college. Now, let me just tell you something about K to 12 in general. Okay? Kasi ang daming debate rin about K to 12. Siyempre, unang-unang mapapansin ng mga magulang na nagpapaaral ng mga estudyante nila is that dagdag na taon, dagdag lang na gastos. Okay? But if you're going to look at the design of the curriculum, it's actually quite very interesting. Okay? Una, the K to 12 curriculum actually focuses or like include science as one of its focus subject. Okay? Kaya kung titignan natin mabuti, halos karamihan ng mga level, karamihan ng mga grade level across kinder. Diyan kasi mag-start eh. Kaya K stands to kinder to 12. That's kinder to grade 12. Okay? Hindi siya K plus 12. Okay? Mukha lang siyang K plus 12, but the correct term is K to 12. Okay. So, 1 year for kindergarten, that's a prerequisite. Hindi na pwedeng mag-aral ang bata ngayon ng grade 1 nang hindi nakakapag-kinder. Okay? So, yung primary education mo under K to 12, that's 6 years. That's grades 1 to 6. And then, after nun, magle-level up ka na sa junior high school na 4 years. That's grade 7, 8, 9, and 10. Sa case namin dati, una, under ng BEC, ito ay personal kong experience, hindi mo kailangang mag-kinder. So, nakapag-grade 1 ako, pero hindi ako nag-kinder. Okay? Second is, sa case namin sa BEC, okay, after grade 10, ang tawag pala sa grade 10 before ay 4th year, ang tawag sa grade 9 ay 3rd year, ang tawag sa grade 8 ay 2nd year, at ang tawag sa grade 7 noon ay 1st year. So pag 4th year ka na noon na high school, graduating ka na. Okay? Pero sa K to 12, after grade 10, okay, magiging completer ka lang. Yun ang level na natawag sa'yo kapag na-complete mo na yung junior high. And then, after nun, you'll enter senior high school, that is grade 11 and grade 12. Now, I would like to ask now, what are the science subjects that you've obtained from your junior high school level? Okay, most probably, you may say that when it comes to junior high school, you've encountered earth science, biology, physics, and chemistry. But when it comes to senior high school, that's going to vary. Okay, that depends on the track that you've taken during your senior high school. If you're STEM, most probably majority of your senior high school subjects are science related. Whereas if you're not STEM related, let's say UMS, let's say TVL, let's say ABM and other tracks, most probably the number of science subjects that you've encountered are like lesser than that of a STEM student graduate. Okay, so if I'm going to further check, no, differentiating the science courses in high school under K to 12 program and the science courses before its implementation, of course, there's really a distinct difference between the two. Sa K to 12 kasi, katulad ng sinabi ko nga, okay, halos lahat, makikita naman natin that science has been given importance kasi simula elementary up until junior and senior high school, may mga science subjects tayo, but it varies nga, no? Um, Furthermore, the approach kasi for K to 12 is actually spiral. And when we say spiral, it starts from the basics, then it progresses into the more complex levels, no? So if you're going to recall, I really do apologize for the background noise, okay? If you're going to recall the science subject during your grades 7 to 10, 'di ba? They're all earth science, physics, chem, biology, but and you are encountering them per quarter, right? Pwedeng, halimbawa sa grade 10, the first quarter will be earth science to be followed by, um, let's say, biology, and then third quarter will be physics, fourth quarter will be chemistry, and they are only varying depending on the complexity. Okay, so we expect that if you're like under grade 7, most probably all of the fields of sciences I've mentioned a while ago will be given to you, but in just the basic versions, kumbaga. No, but it is expected that under K to 12, as you progress, as you level up with your grade level, of course, the complexity of the lessons given to you should get harder, or like gets more complex as time passes by, if you get what I mean. But if you are to compare with the basic education curriculum prior, K to 12, technically it's per year level. Actually, ang tawag sa grade 7, 8, 9, and 10 during that time, kasi wala naman tayong senior high school noon, after parang after fourth year is like the counterpart of grade 10, third year is grade 9, second year is grade 8, uh, first year is grade 7. So, um, after fourth year or grade 10 ngayon, graduate ka na agad, you can enter college. That's under basic education curriculum before. So, sa case naman doon with science, the fields of sciences given are still the same. We have general science for first year, but it's like provided, or it's being taught all throughout the school year. Okay? And for second year, it's biology. For third year, it's chemistry. And for fourth year, it's physics. So since we are like talking about the same field of science all throughout the school year, somehow, um, based on my personal experience, one advantage of that particular curriculum is the mastery. It's able to provide us because the continuity of the lessons are quite good, no? Kasi walang masyadong cut, 'di ba? In comparison with K to 12's like science spiral curriculum approach, ang nangyayari parang you are able to encounter the next or the continuation of the topics once you've leveled up, no, once you get promoted into the next grade level. And sometimes it's like it will take some time, of course, no. But the thing with K to 12 naman about the spiral curriculum is that that's the approach. Still, it offers students with great opportunities to learn in the field of science. And another thing with K to 12 that I personally find quite interesting is that it provides students with a deeper understanding of the concepts under different science fields. Um, I remember there's some concept that is now part of the K to 12 curriculum science education that is available only, or is only offered to students during my time uh in our college level. So like imagine yung mga concepts na itinuturo ngayon sa high school, yung iba dun, yung mga concept dun, na-encounter ko lang siya nung college na ako. Kasi nga, my major is biology. So, that's like how it is. So, we may be blessed with the opportunity to master the field of science that's been given to us during the time, but the coverage of the topics on my end, personally I'm only saying this based on my own experience, medyo nakukulangan ako. It's kind of shallow for me. It's too general for me actually. Pero even if it's too general, the idea that we are able to master it, then that's still a good point. Sa case naman ng K to 12, medyo challenging yung idea of spiral curriculum, but it has offered students with no, lots of information and deeper knowledge, no, to acquire in the field of science. So both both curriculum naman has its pros and cons. And again, at the end of the day, always remember that the main goal naman is for us to teach, no, and unleash the potentials within each learners or students. Okay? If you want to if you wanted to learn more, no, or further get acquainted with how BEC or basic education curriculum is before, most probably you could ask your older sisters, brothers, or even your parents, and most probably they'll be able to share you lots of things about it. So let's now get into the Philippine Science High School naman. So what's with Pisay? No, actually the Philippine Science High School is very known. Okay, not just simply here in the Philippines, but also even internationally. They're already making their name. Um, Actually, this particular type of science high school is a specialized public high school that is supervised by the OST, but still they are uh, um, technically under DepEd pa rin naman. Okay? So, in 2016, in the ASEAN region, they are perceived to be one of the best, no, high school, and they are tagged to be the top high school here in the Philippines. And um, I just correct me if I'm wrong, but based on what I can recall, I think there are 16 branches of this um, high school. Okay? And hindi naman porket science high school lang is literal na puro science curriculum lang yung ino-offer nila. There are some Philippine Science High School branches that offers both regular and science curricula. Pero meron din namang iba na science curriculum lang yung available. And of course, pag sinabi nating Pisay and then their science curriculum, obviously, they offer more advanced science and mathematics subjects. No? Yung iba, like for example, Carmona National High School, based on what I know, hindi naman sila science high school, but they do have the science class, and that's fine kasi meron talagang mga uh, public schools that are oriented to science and technology, and they are of course still under DepEd naman, and technically they also offer their own advanced science and math subjects. Okay, and I believe more than science and math, they are also leaning towards robotics as well nowadays, no? Kaya different like competitions related to robotics are also emerging, and if I'm not mistaken, Pisay is also trying to make their own name among those competitions as well. Now, if I am to get asked, no, is teaching science difficult? Actually, personally on my end, madali lang siya. Okay, kasi inaral na namin 'to, eh, nung undergrad ko, nung college, 'no, and if you really wanted to teach then, 'di ba, I think it covers half of the concern. Okay, if you really want to do something, even if it's quite difficult to do, you'll still do it, right? If it's your passion. But maybe personally, the things that makes teaching science quite difficult, especially here in the Philippines, is um the things I'm about to share right now. Okay? And what are those? Well, of course, una kasi sa lahat, okay, meron talagang mga problema, no, na dapat nating i-pinpoint na talagang na-experience natin, and that really affects the way we teach sa case ng mga teachers and the way students learn science. Una na sa lahat, no? Sabi ko nga dito, what problems have you encountered regarding science education? So if you want to pause the video here and share your thoughts about it through the comment section of our learning platforms, you're allowed to do so, no? Pero most probably some of the problems you may be sharing is first yung teacher-student ratio, right? Though we do not quite experience this one from in our university, but other areas here in the Philippines, especially um, sa mga public schools, alam natin na evident ang alin. Evident yung teacher-student ratio that is not ideal for teaching and also learning. Okay, ideally kasi one teacher is to 40 students. Actually, ang nangyayari, parang sobrang dami na yon, no? Pero if I'm not mistaken, based on what I can recall, it's one is to 16, if I'm not mistaken. But yun nga, 'di ba, sa totoong buhay, it's one teacher per 40 students. But parang naabutan ko pa na sa case namin, lalo na nung high school ako, kailangan hatiin na yung section namin kasi may mga umuupo na sa sahig kasi wala ng upuan at sobrang sikip na sa unahan. Nagkaroon pa ng shifting, yan. Merong pang umaga, merong pang hapon. So, the amount of time that is supposed to be given for each subject has been cut short just to accommodate the large number of students and just so us to teach them. But if you're going to look at it, shifting, dividing them, or in this case, we're going to look at the picture, 'di ba? Dinivide nga natin pero yung room naman din is isang concern. So parang the only division is just like literally the blackboard. It generally compromises what? The teaching and of course the learning process, right? So that's one thing. Okay? Iisang teacher, pag maraming estudyante, pag lahat nagsabay-sabay magsalita, ay wala na talaga. Go. Another is lack of facilities. I think it's quite related with the first one. Sabi nga natin, kay what if okay yung teacher-student ratio, pero paano kung kulang ang mga classroom? So wala din, no? Maabot sa point na ang iba kaklase sa labas, sa ilalim ng puno, o sa case ng nakikita nating picture right now, saan? Sa corridor. And is that a conducive learning environment? Of course not. Madidistract ka kapag may mga dumadaan. Lack of materials and equipment, ito yung na-share ko na rin to last time, no. I encountered this one dahil sabi ko nga I am a product of public school, no. Wherein not that I'm like ano ba, tarnishing the name of the public schools here in the Philippines. They are actually still one of the best schools. If I may share, kasi talagang pagprodukto ka rin ng public school, kumbaga diyan papasok yung survival of the fittest na tinatawag. Kung hindi ka madiskarte, hindi ka talaga din makakapasa, no? And actually diyan ka rin makaka-encounter ng sobrang gagaling rin ng mga estudyante, no? So, but going back, diyan ko rin experience yung hindi sapat yung number of laboratory equipments that we can use. Sometimes, sa iisang microscope nung second year ako, that's like grade A today, the subject is biology, no? And we're tasked to observe onion root tip. Okay? We are observing it only using only one microscope, and where we're like the entire class is like 45 students, so we really need to line up, wait for our turn, and just simply actually hindi mo na mamanipulate yung yung microscope focus na nun yung teacher, tapos sisilip ka lang para lang makita yung slide, and you're not even allowed to take micrograph during that time kasi technically wala pang cellphone. Not technically na walang cellphone during that time, pero parang the idea that you can use your phone to take a picture of the slide that time to like yun nga have a micrograph, it's not that used, if I'm not mistaken. And yung quality rin ng mga camera din that time, no? Not unless talagang mayaman ka at maganda ang cellphone mo, talagang malinaw yung magiging picture. But going back, yun nga yung tipo na parang pagsilip mo kahit ang makita mo lang dun ay yung pilik mata mo, wala eh. That's it. After nun, tapos na yung turn mo, wala ka nang magagawa. So, problema mo na ngayon kung nakita mo ba talaga yung mitosis, no? Yung phases of cell division doon sa onion root tip or hindi. Okay? If we ask our teachers why can't we use other laboratory apparatus, they're going to tell us na baka masira, no? So that's like some of the concerns of the Philippine science education then that really affects the way student and teachers are.
able to do their job, no, to teach the students po and for the students to learn. So that's very unfortunate, of course, but again, we're trying our best to improve it. And I must say naman na, no, na after me entering the workforce after graduating from college, parang so far naman, sa mga previous schools ko na na-attendan, right now, all of them naman ay nag-improve na. Okay? So, I do not want to say na, kumbaga, it's getting worse. Somehow, it is actually getting better naman na. No? Dumadami na ang building, dumadami ng mga laboratories. So, that's an indication that somehow we're trying to fix these concerns. Though still, they are quite evident pa rin naman. They are still affecting our current students. So, we must try to look into it further for us to properly achieve the ideal goals of our science education. So, here when we talk about the tertiary education naman din na sinabi ko, no, eto ano na eh, depende na yan kasi sa talagang course or program that you're going to take in college. If you are going to pursue a program in tertiary education that is in line with science, so you expect na alin, mas marami yung science-related subjects mo dito. Pero if it's like law or like architecture or social sciences, most probably it won't require science-related subjects. So do not expect na mas marami ka pa ring science-related subject dito, no? And here in this particular level naman, 'di ba, as we go further, we are being taught, no, the students are being taught here to integrate yung mga concepts in their own and even create their own basic researches, right? Kahit nga nung senior high school kayo under K to 12, so you already had your courses or your subjects that's related to researches, right? So that's one thing. Okay? Sa tertiary level education, you're expected to apply some of the fundamental concepts and theories na dinevelop na, no? Or na-develop ng mga scientists. Lalo na kung, ayun nga, science-related yung subject natin. Okay? So, it is expected na yung mga competencies and knowledge that are expected to be learned during the basic education is ma-apply na natin dito sa tertiary level. Okay? And again, here, if you're going to notice, ayun na nga, okay, hindi naman natin sinasabi na kapag science education, dapat ang ipoproduce lang ay, alin, mga science-related professionals. Of course, at the end of the day, it is your free will. Okay, it is you going to decide. Pero that's like the idea. All of it, starting from the basic education up until tertiary level, are meant to mold the future you. Okay, be it in the field of medicine, in the field of engineering, social sciences, or community service, or even in education or academia. And that technically ends our lesson about the science education here in the Philippines. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. This is Miss De La Torre.